Time now to take a look through the French newspapers, and I'm joined by Nicholas Rushworth. Hello, Nicholas. What have you got to start off with?
I'm going to start out with Libération, which is leading on the Mera affair, and the headline there, Les ratés policiers. Now that translates as the errors of police, or what they missed out in their investigation. Now, the Mohamed Merah case, we have to put our minds back to last March, so March this year, and Mohamed Merah, a young guy, went on a killing spree around Toulouse and also in the neighbouring town of Montauban. Now, in that killing spree, he killed 3 French unarmed soldiers and also 3 Jewish school children and a rabbi. So it became a huge story for the world's press, and Libé today says it has access to documents which show that there are errors. Now, specifically 2 errors. It says the first error was that the police were actually on the wrong line of inquiry initially. They were barking up the wrong tree, thinking that a far-right madman was attacking the military. So that, in effect, wasted time for them. Now, Libé says that these documents it has access to also show that the mayor's name came up in the investigation early on, and that they could quite easily have gone and held him and interviewed himself and his family. So that was an opportunity wasted. So the message here from Libé on the front page here with a scoop and in these 2 pages is that, in fact, Mohamed Merah could have been arrested before he went on that killing spree. That's the message from there.
So a scoop for Libération. What about the other papers? What are they headlining with?
Well, there's been a big story that has been in the international press, and this is about the assertion that a French secret agent could have been the person who killed Colonel Gaddafi, and Colonel Gaddafi shot last October, on the 20th of October. Now, this is not in the French press, but I found this small story here at the bottom of the foreign pages in Le Figaro. There, the headline, Gaddafi possibly killed by a French secret agent. And again, that story is just a factual piece, and it's just saying, well, actually, this story originates from a piece in Corriere della Sera, which is the city paper in Milan, from last week. Now, it's been picked up quite a lot by the British press, but not so much by the French. Now, of course, it would be, theoretically, at face value, a major story, of course, but it's not running. But Le Parisien, too, has got a little bit of a coverage of it. Le Parisien has got an interview there, you can see, an interview with the former Defence Minister Gérard Longuet. Now, he was called by the paper and said, well, what do you think of this assertion that Nicolas Sarkozy ordered the killing of Gaddafi, and an agent infiltrated the mob on that day, if you remember those images? And Gérard Longuet, his reaction is, this is totally crazy. C'est totalement farfelu. This is not credible. This is, methinks he does protest too much, you might react, but he definitely emphatically, categorically says this is just not credible. Another source in there is also saying, no, this is not the way to go. So whether we'll hear more about that in the French press, I'm not quite sure. Something I will look for during the week.
So that was buried in the Figaro, but what about its front page?
Well, I can go to the front page, and we've got the usual clash between left and right there. The Le Figaro is a right-wing paper. Today we've got the debate in Parliament of the EU fiscal pact, and François Hollande and his government are going to try and push that through. Prime Minister Jean-Marc Ayrault is going to push it through, and the Le Figaro is saying, in fact, the left are split on this. Some people in the left are saying, well, it's untenable. We can't possibly meet this target of 3% by 2013, next year, to reduce the deficit in France from 4.5% to 3%. So we'll be learning more about that EU fiscal debate during the day here on France 24, of course, because that will be one of the big story of the day, won't it?
Of course. Thank you very much, Nicholas.